COMGROW contacted me and said they had a couple items that my viewers might be interested in. I guess they had watched some of my videos and they saw how I recommend these honeycomb grids and laser enclosures and, you know, venting them and stuff. So they offered to send me a couple items here, and the first one is a oversized honeycomb. This thing is just amazing. It's not like those little 300 some by 300 and some or whatever they are ones that you buy. This one is actually a oversized one that you can set the laser right on top of, so you never really have to worry about running out of grid when you're doing a job. Gives you plenty of room to set up fixturing and tooling, and it comes with a nice formed aluminum crumb tray under it. Really, all, you know, everything has to be well made. It comes with a plastic. You have to peel off the outside of it there, plastic coating to protect it. But it really looks nice. And the thing that amazed me about it is it's magnetic. It's made out of a magnetic material, and this really is going to make it nice for setting up fixturing and holding down items and stuff. And instead of using tape and lead weights, it's nice. And if you look at it, it's perfect fit for the X tool. Now remember, I pulled this one out of the enclosure, and I have to build a new enclosure for it. And it looks like it'll be, you know, going in there with this grid under it. It's just really nice, and you know, the X tool does fit perfectly on it. Now other lasers may be smaller, and you may have to build a bracket, but I just wanted to show you that it is a perfect fit. And I took out an old framing square. It's actually a nice straight square, just to check it. And you can see this thing is really dead flat. So, you know, that's really a great accessory, I think. Now, another item that they sent was what they call a smoke purifier. They know I'm always telling people to, you know, not breathe the fumes of these lasers, and they figured that this might be helpful for some instances. So it's really well packed. And you can see plenty of padding and plenty of foam to keep it from getting damaged during shipping. And it's basically a little filter box. It has a HEPA filter in it with a pre-filter and a charcoal filter. And it comes with a couple pieces of aluminum tubing to hook it up. Now, these may not be the best quality pieces of tubing here, but they do work. I'll show you that as we hook it up. And a bunch of clamps. Get everything clamped together. Screwdriver for the clamps. And the power brick to run it. Now this uses a 24 volt power brick there. And one thing about it is, you can see there's cartridges that have to be replaced over time, and they do not have all of them on the website yet. So I kind of would wait before buying one of these things until they get everything listed on the website, so you're sure you can get cartridges for it. Because, you know, it's an oddball cartridge, filter cartridge that you won't find anywhere else. And it does come with this snaky thing for catching fumes. And, you know, I bought one of these for my drill press, and just that little attachment alone was like $40 some. So, you know, that's really a big plus for this. Comes with a piece of what they call 3-inch hose. It's supposed to fit on there, but it really doesn't fit right. And it comes with a piece of 4-inch hose, and that other oddball adapter, I don't know what that's for, but that was shipped with it too. So looks like that's for a bigger one of those suction hoses. But you know, that one reducer there does fit the 3 to 4 inch. So those are all the parts that came with it, and let's look inside. And that's what I mean. There's the filter that comes in it. You see it's got a carbon filter on the bottom, a HEPA in the middle, and a blower in the bottom there, and just a pre-filter on top. And a little power switch with a flow controlled knob. And on-off switch there. So it's a fairly simple device, and one of the big uses I'm going to be using it for is when I'm soldering. I can see this really being handy, because you can see how I use those helping hands for soldering, and when you're up in the air there and you get that smoke in your face, it's just not fun. It's really not healthy at all. So I'll just show you how this thing grabs the smoke. I'm sticking a nasty old piece of cloth on there that I know will get smoky. Just gonna light it on fire, and there you can see it's pulling the smoke in. Kind of doing a pretty good job at it. And let's see if we can blow the flames out to get some good smoke. Boy, I'm never going to be able to blow out my birthday candles. Okay, there we go. And there you can see, you can watch the flow of the smoke. And it's getting pulled right in through there. One thing I will say is I'm getting the smell of smoke in the room. And I'll show you in a little while why. But you can see it's actually pulling it right in and drawing it away from the work area. So you won't get it in your face when you're working. So this is really a great addition for soldering station. And then there's this hose. I was bound and determined to get that one on there. And if you fight with it, you can stretch it around there carefully and just barely get the clamp on there to hold it. There it is there. And then you can adapt it to the 4-inch for, going to a 4-inch for the enclosure. Now, another really good use for this is these laser pecker type little lasers. This is the one from Diwali that I've been using. And you can see that there's really no way to capture the smoke on them. So I put this up to it and I'm trying to catch it all there. And I'll show you in a second, but I'm not really having a lot of luck. You can see some of it's actually being blown the other way. But it's, it is pulling the air in pretty good. And I actually discovered that the problem is that the fan in it actually is blowing out the bottom towards the piece of the work area there, so it's blowing the fumes away and the smoke away from the pickup tube there. And so what I did is I just put a piece of, you see that little piece of plywood, I just put a piece of plywood in there to act as a keep the air from blowing out that side there, and all of a sudden you can see the smoke going right up into it now. Now I am getting some smoke coming through it. I get the smell of smoke and some fumes coming through it at this point, but I'll show you how I fix that in a second. But there you can see it does do a really good job with this type of laser once you do block off the air from the fan. And it does get get everything that's coming off. And I'm just using this on wood now. If I was doing plastic, I probably would vent it outside, to tell you the truth. But for the wood, it works pretty good. But I found out that this filter wasn't sitting in there flat, and also there was an 1/8 of an inch gap. So the filter, one corner of the filter was up, and it seemed to be pulling the air right around the outside of the filter instead of going through it. And you can see there, it's got some rock in the filter, and it was just floating in there. So actually the reason I was getting the smell and everything was because it wasn't going through the filter, it was being pulled underneath and around in some areas. So I figured to fix that, I had some 1/8 inch thick self-adhesive, nice soft neoprene rubber. And I'm just going to put a band of it around on top of the filter. That filter has kind of like a seal area on it. And you can see I just put that up in the top there, made sure all the corners were really tight. And then when I put it on the filter, you can see it pushes the filter down and actually gives it a little bit of pressure on it. So it seals everything really good and tight. And this did help with all the smoke going through it. No more after that. Now, a problem that I did have after I let it run for about an hour there, and it stopped working. This power brick here actually quit putting out voltage. It just sort of died. So we'll go on to something else. I'll go back to that. And I'm opening up the cover, the tent package. Comes with a pair of gloves that probably would fit my granddaughter, but definitely won't work on me. So I'll put them aside. And then it's just like a little fireproof tent. It has the tent thing. It has a flange here for hooking up your 4-inch vent. It has some rubber or plastic corner pieces and some aluminum poles that go together. Now the instructions are good. You know, they're all marked, what goes where. And one thing I did run into was when you go to put them together, you'll notice some of them have a little dimple in them, and it stops them before being seated. And then some of them just don't have that dimple in them. And at first I thought that you were going to wind up with two different length poles. There you can see, because that dimple stopped them, and the other one seats tight without it. But what I did find out later is if you just really push hard on pushing them together there, that dimple will just ride over the end of the tube and they'll all be the same length. You can see the one's shorter when you put it together because they bottom out, but the dimple stopped it on the other ones. So just really put them on a bench and tap them with a hammer to get them going, or, you know, push them hard. And the corner pieces go right in there. You can see they all fit together nice. And there's what I'm talking about. You can see that one's got the little dimple in it. And if you push it hard, it will actually bottom out. So that's probably just something to retain them. And for some reason, they didn't put it in all of them. But there's what it looks like. Takes about 1 minute to put it all together there. So really easy to assemble. Nice strong structure it looks like. And then this top, I'm told is supposed to be a fireproof material. I don't know, but you never leave these lasers running unattended anyway. So always have a fire extinguisher nearby and stuff. But this does, it does look like it could be fireproof. Some kind of a like a rubbery outside with a liner on the inside, and that actually just stretches right over there. You just have to get all the corners started, get it all squared up, kind of like putting a tent together out when you go camping. And then just pull it all down, and you can see it fit really perfect. Really nice fit, everything in there. So last thing you have to do is there are 4 little Velcro pieces that overlap each other and lock it onto the tube there. And that keeps the vacuum from sucking it in when you put the purifier on it or a fan on it. And there's the last one. So really, it's a great way, for if you don't have if you're not going to build an enclosure, it's a great way to get started at least, and make sure that you have a way to vent your laser. So there it is all together, and seems to have nice zippers. I don't know how any of this will hold up over time, but I will find out. And it fits together nice. Everything looks good. One last thing to do is they give you a flange to go through there for the 4-inch ducting. So I'm just going to put that in there, and then there's another piece that goes on the outside, and some screws hold it all together. So let's try to see if it fits over the X-Tool D1, which is the same size as the D1 Pro, I know. And it's actually a perfect fit. The wires are a little bit tight on the right hand side there. You have to kind of get them up around the tube and plug them in, but it fits perfectly over that Honeycomb and over the D1. And there you can see it. So this is really it's a good way if you're just getting started. You don't want to spend a lot of money on an enclosure. I know if you watch like Amazon or even the COMGROW site, you'll see that these do come down in price quite a bit. So now I'm going to hook it up to this smoke purifier. Now that's a 3-inch one. Rather than trying to keep that clamp on it, I'm just going to put some masking tape around there for now. Easiest for me. It's venting down to a 3-inch there from a 4-inch, you can see. But in reality, if you do have an exterior window or something like that, I would recommend you vent this outside. Get an inline exhaust fan and just vent it outside, and you'll be safest. But as you can see, there was enough hose and accessories to hook this up to the tent there. And I was bound and determined to see if this thing would work or if I could get it working. And Power Brick's putting out a couple of millivolts only, so Brick's definitely shot. And I decided probably not much I can do about it. I did pull it apart. I'll show you in a second. But in the meantime, cut a little piece of 1/4-inch plywood to fit up right across there, right over the top there, because I want to put a light in here, some LED strips across there. So that was the easiest way. You can see how it really does hold that top up nice too. So that'll serve two purposes. Because when you do pull a vacuum on this, it does try to pull down in the middle. So, of course, I cut that Power Brick open, see if I could find anything wrong. And it smelled like burnt stuff in there, but I couldn't see anything wrong on the PC board or anything. Couldn't tell what was burnt, but definitely something in there smoked itself. And I'm just going to order another one from Amazon and have it tomorrow. So I'll just, leave this set up here, and you can see, just how it's all hooked up. And tomorrow will be another day when I get to fire it up, get to try it. But actually, it looks like it's like, I think it's the most affordable way to get started with an enclosure if you really have nothing else. It's not custom; it'll fit just about anyone, and it fits that honeycomb perfect. And as you can see, it does fit the D1. I just love that honeycomb. It's amazing. I got some magnets coming for that too, some bigger ones. But you can see everything fits well. It's got the big exhaust port on that side. Switch is a little tight to get at. Not much room there, but when you use Lightburn, you don't really have to hit that button anyway. You can send right from Lightburn. So here we are, next day. Amazon came, and I got another brick. This time I just bought a 5-amp one. Now, if you have a problem with one of these that you buy, I would say just contact COMGROW, and they'll probably take care of you, send you out a replacement if it dies like that. But I didn't want to waste the time. I'm trying to get this video done, so I just picked one up on Amazon. Had a really good review, and it's 5-amp instead of 4-amp. So, and everything's back and running now. So let's try this out. And you can kind of hear that the first up to about 25, you can hear the flow change, the fan speed. But after that, it kind of stops. It's just full speed. So I'm just going to do a quick burn here. I'm going to try to burn deep and smoky on it. And I got the air assist going in there too. So let's close it up. Turn on the Purifier there. And let's start up the laser. And you can see the Purifier does do a good job of keeping a negative pressure in the enclosure. And what I found was to run it as low as possible. It keeps the smoke out, but if you run it fast, it seems to put too much air through that carbon filter and you get all the smell. If you run it slow, just kind of throttle it back some and have less air going through the filter, it seems to do a better job. I will tell you though that zero smoke does come through this, but it does allow the smell. It kind of smells like a wood stove when you get done using it. So here it was. I ran that for 20 minutes. Ran it slow, and I got to burn pretty deep. Made a lot of smoke in the enclosure, and you can see it. It really cleared it out quick. Did a good job. And I will say there's zero smoke that came through that Purifier, but there is a lot of burning smell. So I probably wouldn't use it if you're doing plastics or anything like that. I definitely would vent outside. But pretty much, let's look at the filter now. And here you can see, there's where all the smoke went. That pre-filter seemed to have caught all the smoke. And the carbon, you can't really tell. But there's not much carbon there, so it doesn't get all the actual fumes from it. But it does get the smoke from it. So in the end, it works pretty good if it's something that you're just going to use a couple times and, maybe do some wood engraving and cutting. I think it's a good choice. But if you're going to use it for hours on end, I'm going to say vent it outside. And it will work good with these little laser pecker type things you can see. But I think that my main use for this is going to be for soldering, because it really does a great job at, grabbing that smoke while you're soldering. And this enclosure did work excellent. And the vent pulled it down, and, the purifier did work with it, but you still get some smell. You don't get smoke. So in the end, it all looks like it's really nice accessories for lasers. It doesn't matter what brand you buy. It looks like it'll work with just about any of them. And this smoke purifier can be used for other things too, like the laser peckers and stuff like that. So I'll put some links down below. They're not going to be affiliate links. They're just going to be links to COMGROW. And, you can check the stuff out and see if it, interests you and if it'll work for you. And I definitely recommend this honeycomb here. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.